So what am I going to do is integration by parts. So basically why we do these method. So part-wise integration. So let me start with this. So suppose we have a function, two functions in the form of fx gx. Now you have to integrate such functions like this. So you have to do an integration of the product of two functions fx and gx. So how to do integration parts in here? So what we are going to do is I will take one of them as u and one of them as v. So I will select one of them as u and one of them as v. Then I will apply the formula of integration of uv we are doing dx is equal to, first the one which you have selected u, it will come out like this. Then what you do, integration of v dx, then minus integration of this function which you have taken as u. You will just differentiate that function du dx and integration of v dx and the entire thing dx because of this integration, this bigger integration. Okay, so basically what is the main purpose of selecting u? The reason we are selecting a function as u, because you see when you look at u is never integrated. U comes outside and u in here is differentiated, right? So basically the reason we substitute one as u is that we will only substitute those functions as u which is hard to be integrated, right? Suppose we have integration of log x. Now integration of log x is basically not possible. Why? Because integration of log x cannot be done. Am I clear? We have done so many formulas, but there was no a function whose differentiation was log x. So no function's differentiation was log x. So that's why there is no integration of log x. The formulas, I will tell you, the formulas, there are no formulas in which we have learned the differentiation of this function is equal to log x. Just like differentiation of x square is 2x, differentiation of sin x is cos x. So I can say integration of cos x is sin x. We directly learned a formula, but we haven't learned a formula in which we say that integration log x is that. You cannot say. So here for finding integration of log x, we have to use integration by parts, and I will be taking log x as u. Why? Because integration is not possible, and if you check here in integration of parts, the u function is never integrated provided it is differentiated. So u is never integrated, and the v function taken is 1 because there is no other function in here. So the v function what I will take is 1. So this is how we find integration of log x. So that's an example I told you how to integrate a function by parts. So this is one example, that is integration of log x. So this is the basic formula, that is u integration of v dx minus integration of differentiation of u, integration of v dx, then the entire dx. Clear? So that's the formula. This is the most important thing of integration by parts that you have to learn. Now the second most important is, then how will I select a function as u? Now somebody might be saying, sir, if I have e to the power x sin x dx. Now for this function, you see both the functions can be integrated. Why? Because integration of e to the power x is e to the power x and integration of sin x is minus cos x. So both the function is integratable. So how can I use integration by parts to integrate this thing? Now the point comes of selecting u and v. So in what way, in what method should I select a function as u or v? So the method is that it is known as ILATE. ILATE. It's not I am late, I'm late for class, it's ILATE. Okay, where I stands for, this I stands for inverse trigonometric functions. Inverse trigonometric functions. L stands for logarithmic functions. Logarithmic functions. A stands for algebraic functions. T stands for trigonometric functions. And E stands for exponential function. Exponential functions. So basically you have to follow the method of ILATE. So what do you mean by ILATE? So suppose you have an integration in which you have inverse trigonometric function as well as logarithmic function. So what you will do is you select inverse trigonometric function as u. So basically the selection of u will be from this side. This side will be selected as selection of u. Suppose I have a function in which we have to integrate an exponential function and an inverse trigonometric function. So my u will be this inverse trigonometric function. This will be my u, and e will be the exponential function will be my v. So here you see it is integration of e to the power x sin x. So e to the power x is what? Exponential, and sin x is what? Trigonometric. And you see trigonometric functions lie before exponential. So this sin x will be your u, and e to the power x automatically will become v. So like this way we will select u by this order, ILATE. Okay. So this is how we select. Actually, these are the two important things which you need to know for integration by parts, and the rest is all easy. So first step is you have to select a u. Then my next step will be the formula of integration by parts. Okay, let's start with a question. So what we have, the first question is x sin x. So here we have question number 1. That is integration of, I will write here I is equal to integration of x sin x dx. So here we need to know that which function should I take as u and v. So here x is what? Algebraic function, and sin x is trigonometric function. And if you look at the order, algebraic function comes before trigonometric. So my u will be x. Okay, both are integratable, but still, since I am doing by integration by parts, so x will be my u. So I will write here by integration by parts. So what we do? So here we will do how we integrate this one. So first x comes out because it's this is our u. So u integration of sin x dx. So what was the formula? U integration of v dx minus integration of du dx integration of v dx, then the entire thing dx. Clear? So here x integration of sin x dx minus integration of differentiation of x du dx. So we have dx dx, then integration of sin x dx, then the entire thing dx. So this is what we have. So I will write here x cos x, integration of sin x is minus cos x minus cos x, then minus integration, differentiation of x is what? 1. So forget about it. So integration of minus cos x dx. This is what we have. We have finished with the integration of this part, and the integration of this part is what? Minus cos x. So we have to do the outside integration. So what we have at the end, this one is minus x cos x, and this one is minus minus becomes plus. So integration of cos x is sin x plus c. That's how we find our answer. Okay, this is how we do integration by parts. Achha. Let me try doing question number 4. Question number 5. They're all easy. Please do the remaining as homework. So what we have, I is equal to integration of x log x, x log 2x. So this is what we have. So my two functions are, one is x, the other one is log 2x. Now very easy way, ILATE. So logarithmic function comes before algebraic function. So log 2x will be my u. So this one I will write log 2x integration of x dx. Formula, let me write the formula again, u v dx minus integration of du dx integration of v dx dx. This is what we have, right? So now after doing this, what we'll do is, so here we have, let's write the formula, minus integration of differentiation of log 2x d dx of log 2x, then integration of v dx. What is our v? That is our x dx and entire dx. This is what we have. So let's finish it up. Integration of x, we know that is x square by 2. So x square by 2 log 2x minus, this one becomes what? Integration of differentiation of log 2x is what? Differentiation of log x is 1 by x. So integration of log 2x is, it is 1 by 2x, then differentiation of 2x, that is 2. And integration of x is, we already know that is x square by 2 dx. So let's see what's getting cut. So these 2 and 2 goes away, and this x square x, here there will be x. So what do we have to do is, let's write it in the simplified form. So this one will be x square by 2 log x, log 2x minus integration of, this one will be x by 2 dx. So we have x square by 2 log 2x minus half, this 1 by 2 comes out, and integration of x is x square by 2 plus c. So my answer will become, it will be x square by 2 log 2x minus x square by 4 plus c. That's my answer. So that's how we do integration. I hope it's clear. Okay, let me do another problem. So we have done with question number 5. Question number 6 will also be homework. These are very, very easy. Let me do question number 8. 7, 8, 9, they're all same. So let me do question number 8. So question number 8, it is integration of I is equal to integration of x tan inverse x dx. So we have to do this thing again, isolate. So obviously inverse trigonometric function comes ahead, so I will take that one as u. So right here by integration by parts, I am just writing the short form of that, integration by parts. So this one will be what? Tan inverse x is on u. So the formula again, u integration of v dx minus integration of du dx, then integration of v dx, entire dx. This is what we have, right? So let's write here. So tan inverse x outside, integration of x dx minus differentiation of tan inverse x. So differentiation of tan inverse x, then integration of x dx, then the entire thing dx. So this is what we have. So let's solve it. So integration of x is x square by 2, we know that thing, tan inverse x minus integration of differentiation of tan inverse x is what? It is 1 by 1 plus x square, and integration of x is x square by 2 dx. So this 2 I will take it out. I'm going to write this one as x square by 2 tan inverse x minus half integration of x square by 1 plus x square dx. Now if you look at this function x square by 1 plus x square, it is an improper function. It's an improper function. So whenever you came across an improper function, what you try to do is, you try to make some manipulation such that my numerator becomes equal to my denominator. Okay, always remember, whenever we come across an improper function, try to do a manipulations in which the numerator becomes equal to the denominator. So what manipulation we can do in here? I will just add 1 in the numerator and subtract 1. I will just do this thing. So now you see here the numerator becomes equal to the denominator, and there is an added -1 in here. So now we will separate. So we have x square by 2 tan inverse x minus half. If I separate this one, let me give a second bracket in here. So what do we have? 1 plus x square by 1 plus x square, that becomes 1, minus integration of 1 by 1 plus x square dx. So this is what we have. So we have here x square by 2 tan inverse x minus half x plus, and integration of 1 plus x square is what? It is tan inverse x. Tan inverse x plus c. That's it. We made a mistake in here. There will be no brackets. That's why I've changed the sign. Yeah, and we have to multiply a half in here. Yeah. That's it. So that's how we got this answer. So this is my answer, or else we can write this one as x square by 2 plus half tan inverse x minus half x plus c. That's my answer. So that's how we do question number 8. Question number 9 is also same. So let me try to do question number 10. What we have in question number 10 is integration of sine inverse x whole square. So again you see it is sine inverse x whole square dx. So now what do you do? So for this function you think of isolate. But if you look at carefully, there is only one function, that is inverse trigonometric function. So what you will do is, whenever there is only one function, think of it is multiplied with 1. I can express any number multiplied with 1. So sine inverse x whole square is also multiplied with 1, and this 1 is basically an algebraic functions. Okay, so here obviously inverse trigonometric function comes in front. Okay, so we have what I will write here, by integration by parts. So what we have, the formula, I'm going to write the formula again, u integration of v dx, then minus integration of du dx, then it was what, integration of v dx, then the entire thing dx. This is what we have. So let us do this one. So we have integration by parts, u is what, sine inverse x whole square. So sine inverse x whole square, integration of v dx, v is 1, so we have dx, minus integration of, now differentiation of sine inverse x whole square is what? It is 2 sine inverse x, right? It's just like differentiation of x square is what, 2x. So differentiation of sine inverse x whole square is 2 sine inverse x. Then you have to do differentiation of sine inverse x, and differentiation of sine inverse x is what? It is root over of 1 minus x square. Okay, differentiation of sine inverse x is root over of 1 minus x square. So the differentiation we get is 2 sine inverse x divided by root over of 1 minus x square, and what do we get in here as, and then integration of dx, and this entire thing dx. So what we get, integration of 1 is what, x, so we have, yes, x sine inverse x whole square, right? And this one, what you do is, we have minus this 2, we take it out, so integration of x sine inverse x divided by root over of 1 minus x square dx. So this is what we have. So now look at clearly. Now again what we see in here is, now we have to integrate this function. So how we are going to do it? Now think it off. So we have x sine inverse x divided by root over of 1 minus x square. So in here, if I look carefully, the integration of x by root over 1 by x square, it can easily be done. How? If I take 1 minus x square as t, then we can do it. But integration of sine inverse x, that is what? That can also be easily done, right? So what I will do in here, again you see x by 1 root over 1 minus x square is what? Okay, one thing, we can do it entirely by substitution. X sine inverse x by root over 1 minus x square. If I substitute sine inverse x is equal to t, we can do this problem very, very easily. How? I will tell you. First thing, we have solved this one, right? So let us write this one as I1. So I have x sine inverse x whole square minus 2I1. Now let us do I1. So I1 is equal to x sine inverse x divided by root over 1 minus x square dx. So I told you what? I will substitute sine inverse x as t. So I will write let sine inverse x is equal to t. Now from this substitution, we can go to another conclusion. The conclusion is that x is equal to sine t. Yes or no? We can substitute x is equal to sine t. So sine inverse x is equal to 2t. That's what we have substituted. So I will just differentiate this one and you see what you get. So differentiating with respect to x. So what you get here? 1 by root over of 1 minus x square is equal to dt dx. So this is what we have. right? So therefore dx becomes our root over 1 minus x square goes up dt. This is what our dx becomes. So let us do the substitution in the given I1. So I1, what it will become is, you see there is x. This x can be written as sine t. So I will write here sine t. Now sine inverse x is t. So I will write here t divided by root over of 1 minus x square. I will write here root over 1 minus x square. And now dx will become what? Dx will become this thing. So root over of 1 minus x square dt. So this and this goes away. So we have integration of t sine t dt. Now how do we do this thing? So again, t sine t dt can be done by integration by parts. So this t represents an algebraic function. It is just like x. And this sine t represents a trigonometric function. So I late, by following this formula, method, that is I late, you see algebraic functions come before t, a trigonometric function. So I will take u as t. So what do you get here? By integration by parts. So if I do integration by parts, so what we have is a t, that is sorry. Yeah, that's right. T is over u. So t integration of sine t dt, then minus of integration of dt dt, integration of sine t, entire, there will be dt in here, entire dt. So what we get is t integration of sine t is minus cos t, minus integration of dt by dt is what, 1, and integration of sine t is minus cos t dt. So this one will become minus t cos t, then plus, integration of cos t is what? Integration of cos t is plus sine t. So it's plus sine t plus c. So t was what? T was what? Sine inverse x. So I will write here minus t cos sine, it won't be t, it will be sine inverse x cos sine inverse x, then we have plus sine of sine inverse x plus c. Now let us simplify this one, cos of sine inverse x. How do we write this one as? So cos of sine inverse x can be written as, we can write this one as minus sine inverse x, and then what we can do is, I have to convert this into sine. And how do we convert this cos into sine? Because sine and sine inverse x will go away. So what I will do is, I will write this sine inverse x as cos inverse root over of x by 1, root over of 1 minus x square. So this cos inverse cos will go, and here sine and sine inverse, that is x plus c. Okay, now you would be asking, sir, how did you write x as root over of 1, sine inverse x as cos inverse root over of 1 minus x? How do I write that thing? So listen, just look at here. If you have a problem in this, I will just make a short note in here. So how do I got sine inverse x as cos inverse root over 1 minus x square? So that will be a question for you guys. So here you see here, so I will write here let sine inverse x is equal to t, right? So x becomes what? X becomes sine t. So now you write, now I need to find cos t, right? So I will square both sides. So I have x square is equal to sine square t, and you know sine square t is what? 1 minus cos square t. So I have x square is equal to 1 minus cos square t. And now you take this cos square t this side and take x square that side. So we have cos square t is equal to 1 minus x square. Now square root. So this side becomes what? Cos t is equal to root over of 1 minus x square. That's how I got root over of 1 minus x square. Now that's one method. Now I can tell you one shortcut. The shortcut is, you see it is sine inverse x. Sine basically means what? Perpendicular by hypotenuse, right? So if you look at sine inverse x, if you look at another way, you can say this sine inverse x as sine inverse x by 1. I can say it as sine inverse x by 1, where x is my perpendicular and hypotenuse is my 1. x is my perpendicular, hypotenuse is 1. So I have to convert this sine inverse into cos inverse. So for that one, what I have to do, cos inverse is what? Cos is what? Base by hypotenuse. So hypotenuse I already know, it is 1. So I need to find base. If my perpendicular is x and my hypotenuse is 1, so how can I find base? That is square root of hypotenuse square minus perpendicular square. So that's a shortcut way to find out, to transform sine inverse x into cos inverse x. Like this shortcut way you can transform any inverse trigonometric functions to any other inverse trigonometric function. Now cos and cos inverse goes, so we have here root over of 1 minus x square sine inverse x plus x plus c. So this is my I1. So my I will be what? So I will be, so I am just writing the answer in here. So I will be equal to x sine inverse x whole square minus 2. So I1 is what? Minus root over of 1 minus x square sine inverse x plus x plus c. So that will be my answer. Now you can open the bracket in here. So minus minus becomes plus. Here this one you can open this bracket, minus minus becomes plus. So it will be 2 root over 1 minus x square sine inverse x. Then the other one will be minus 2x plus c. Okay, so that's how we solve question number 10. Okay, now we have question number 11. So question number 11 will be is just like here. It's just starting from here, question number 11. If you look at carefully, question number 11, it's same as I1. What I have done I1, question number 11 is exactly same. You just put cos inverse x is equal to t. But here, the only different will be that there will be a minus sign will be there. Why? Because differentiation of cos inverse x is what? Minus 1 by root over of 1 minus x square. So only difference is that. So it will be exactly same as I1. Question number 11. So I'm not doing